Alright, people, we're back. Had to get our saliva back after that long interview. Once again, Ariel Hawani, thank you again. I can't thank this man enough for coming onto our show and doing a small college radio show. It's very huge of a name like that, especially winning an award at the MMA award show and all that. So once again, Ariel, thank you for coming onto our show. So, like we promised, we're going to be reviewing 2 cards that went down in the past week. The first one on Thursday, it was UFC Live, Sanchez versus Kampman. In my opinion, overall, it was a good card.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a good card, good fights and all that.
Considering
We'll
it was free
fights.
too.
Yep, free card.
Can't complain.
The 2 fights on the prelims, not bad. Do you guys want to talk about those 2 fights?
Not bad. Castillo-Stevenson was a very fun fight.
All right, I'm just
Stevenson, he's out, I think.
There's a lightweight bout, Joe Stevenson and Danny Castillo. Castillo won a unanimous decision, and the next fight was Steve Cantwell and Cyril Diabate. Diabate taking a unanimous decision victory right there.
Wow, he kind of murdered him.
Cantwell had a lot of hype coming into his fight, former WEC light heavyweight champion. So a lot of people thought he would, easily handle this fight, and it did not go the way most people would.
That third round was not impressive for either one of them. It was such a slow pace.
Diabate seemed to be gassed, but he was still landing the strikes and everything. So, it was a really good striking display. The one thing that Joe Rogan touched on, it was pretty obvious that he couldn't finish the fight.
His cardio was shot.
Yeah, if he can work on, he had the reach advantage, a huge reach advantage.
Well, he mentioned in the post-fight interview that his cardio was shot. And that
but the fact that he realized his mistakes and how he could have done better shows that he's just an ever-developing fighter. So I can't wait to see him fight next. All right, we'll get right into the main card. The first fight of the night, the bantamweight bout between Brian Bowles and Damasio Page. Bowles wins by technical submission, a guillotine.
Deja vu.
3:30 into the first round. A few years ago, 2 years ago, I believe, they fought. He won 3:30 into the first round with a guillotine choke.
Did it again.
So it was just like you hit replay on that, and that's basically what you got. You got the same thing, same victory. Going into this fight, Damasio Page already fighting this guy. Don't you think we should have trained a little bit more submission defense or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
But then again, it probably is just Brian Bowles' experience.
Brian Bowles is no
fantastic.
I mean, his only losses to Dominic Cruz simply because he broke his hand.
Yep.
And Dominic Cruz, that's arguably one of the pound-for-pound best.
Page came out swinging, though, guns blazing and everything.
Yeah, Leonard Garcia type, eh?
He was going at it, and I was a little scared for Bowles, but then right after that, Bowles managed to rock him.
Got him. I actually found it funny. I mentioned to you before that on 411mania.com when they did the roundtable on the MMA page, how one of the guys said the first fight ended with Bowles submitting Damasio Page. So what makes me think this fight is going to end any differently? And he called submission round 1 for Bowles. That was really strange. That happened exactly the same way.
They really didn't have a reason to do this fight again.
It was just for Bowles to look good. It was a gimme
for Bowles.
It really was. And he took advantage of it.
Next fight of the night, middleweight bout between Alessio Sakara and Chris Weidman. Weidman coming in on short notice for a replacement. He wins by unanimous decision over Alessio Sakara. Alessio Sakara did not look that good in this fight. Weidman, he stuffed a few of Weidman's takedowns in the first round, but then after that, Weidman just got on him.
Well, I don't think Sakara looked that bad.
For a fighter of Weidman, like who's just coming to the UFC, you believe like he's coming up against a big name in Sakara, like not a huge name, but an established name within the UFC. You thought he would have held his own more than he did in that fight. You know what I mean?
But at the same time, I'd have to say Weidman definitely needs to work on his striking if he's gonna, compete with the elites of the middleweight.
This is only his 5th fight in MMA. Yeah, so and he's still young.
So I think the UFC should kind of. Just because he beats Sakara, they shouldn't throw him in there with the Sharks or anything, kind of build him up.
Yep.
Who do you think would be a good next fight for Weidman?
We were talking about this before.
Yeah.
I forgot the name.
Munoz came up.
Yeah. Munoz would be a good...
but that would almost be a step down from Munoz at the same time.
That's exactly what I said, yeah.
Exactly.
But you got to have somebody to do that. You got to have somebody with a name. He beat Sakara. So Sakara has a name right there. So either a one step up or somebody on his plateau level, just to see if he didn't get lucky with Sakara or something like that. Because if he faces somebody who else is a wrestler, you can go wrestler against wrestler right there and see if Weidman can actually compete at the UFC wrestling level and that aspect, you know what I mean? So I can't really say out a name right there, but we'll see. maybe even taking on Falco would be
just about to say
because he did replace Falco, and like at the UFC 127 fight, now I think Ebersol should be fighting Condit.
Yeah,
you know I mean, so
that'd be a fun fight.
If you're replacing somebody, you might as well be fighting them. So if you win the fight, of course. Next up, the co-main event: CB Dollaway, Mark Munoz. Munoz winning with 54 seconds into the first round, a TKO victory. A lot of people are arguing this is a controversial stoppage.
He looked out to me.
All three of us think it's a good stoppage.
I mean, when they did the slow-mo on CB Dollaway's face when he's on the ground, he was looking off into the crowd, and he looked like he didn't know where the hell he was.
Exactly.
That was a good stoppage. And Yamasaki saw it right away.
Yep.
I mean, initially it looked weird because it looked like he stopped it way too early before Munoz even hit him once when he went onto the ground. But even Joe Rogan said, I trust Yamasaki's call there.
Yep. Yeah, so a lot of people in the arena were very disappointed.
Impressive.
But I think a lot of people who are watching it from home and actually got the proper view of it.
Munoz can be a big challenger in the middleweight division, considering he's coming out of Black House too, right? He's training with Anderson Silva.
The fact that he had a split decision against Yushin Okami shows that he can hang in there with like the bigger names of the division. So in terms of who he should fight next, now looking at it, I think fighting Weidman might be a little step down.
What about Chris Lieben?
But at the same time, you have to remember he's coming off only one win after a loss.
Who?
Munoz. I believe his last fight before this was Okami, and he lost that.
He had one more fight before.
Oh, did he?
He's on a 2-fight winning streak now. 3-fight winning streak, I believe. Because the Okami fight was a while ago.
Okay.
So actually, I can pull it up for you guys right here.
Okay. Munoz is coming off.
He's on a 2-fight winning streak.
CB Dollaway and Aaron Simpson.
At UFC 123. So
all right, the Aaron Simpson fight. I forgot about that.
I can't really throw out a name there he can fight, but I would be more than interested in seeing his next fight.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Prab mentioned a good point. Chris Lieben.
Why
not?
Chris Lieben's a good.
He's a name, and he's coming off a loss. So.
Yep.